podcasts brought to you by Real Terryo Radio.
Lose control. My name is the Batchelor, and I'm about to lose control with a bloody idiot. And I can't see that the bloody idiots are all around me, and I cannot help it. Oh no, here we go again. My name's the Batchelor.
Tell you all about the ups and downs of someone who has lost the love of their life. So it's been a very hard time for me, as I have just split up with the love of my life, my husband, number 32, Jean-Claude. And before we get into the ins and outs, I should tell you that yes, I did say my husband number 32. And before that, there was husband number 31, Jase Stones Bloody idiot. And, you know, I don't want to bore you with the other 30 husbands that came before Jase Stones Bloody idiot number 31. But it's all this bloody idiot, Jase Stones Bloody idiot number 31's fault that my dear Jean-Claude number 32 decided to leave me in a huff of smoke and run away. Basically, Jase Stones Bloody idiot number 31 told Jean-Claude number 32 that I was having an affair with my Indian personal assistant, Dr. Sanjeev, who is my bestest friend in the whole world. Now, you know, he's been with our family for years and years and years. In fact, his father and my uncles, old Mr. Batchelor, medium Mr. Batchelor, and young Mr. Batchelor, and Gupta's father all went to the same university. And they're members of the same club. And Gupta's father knows when my uncle, old Mr. Batchelor, and young Mr. Batchelor can get their hands on a World War II aircraft carrier that they can use as part of their cruise ship business with a personal airport. They have decided to take out the bit between flying to the place where you meet the cruise ship, the bus journey to just landing on the cruise ship. They think they can make more money with low overheads here, and they're looking forward to trying it out a bit. Plus, who can say that they've landed on an aircraft carrier? And if they ever wanted to invade a country, they've got to see an aircraft carrier. So it's a win-win situation for the Batchelor family. So we're all in India, and we are enjoying ourselves at my mother's 50-bedroom mansion with 5 acres of land here in Mumbai. And it's owned by the family business Batchelor Brothers Worldwide Limited PLC. And, you know, like I said, we've got old Mr. Uncle Batchelor, young Mr. Uncle Batchelor, and medium Mr. Uncle Batchelor, who doesn't get around much these days, basically because the other two won't let him. And we're all visiting too, and my dear sister Sylvia has come to visit, and she's brought her son, Bobby Darrens. Oh, he's my favourite nephew of them all. I tell you, he holds his Uncle Dick's handbag like a pro. And they are here visiting because Sylvia is getting over the loss of her husband of 31 years, Bobby. Bobby was a funeral director, and he used to deal with stiffs every day. Him and Jase Stones Bloody idiot number 31 had a lot in common. He's a stiff. Well, I personally don't get what Sylvia is so upset about, because my husband number 31, and I was only married to him for a year, was a bloody idiot. tell you all what happened that caused the fight. So, I have a tradition at Christmas. And this tradition is that I buy the family of my husband, a present. So, the first Christmas, and we were at his mother's house, and his sister and his other sister were there. And Jase Stones Bloody Idiot's brother, Marcus, that's Marcus Stones. I know him personally before I met Jase Stones Bloody Idiot. We both went to the same officers training school. Anyways, back to it. I buy them a nice set of pyjamas. The Stones family, I bought them a set of pyjamas, a dressing gown, all of good quality, a pair of lovely slippers that were pink and had a lovely brown bow on them, and a nice little teddy bear with a hat and glasses, and in the eyes it had CCTV cameras. Don't worry, so we could never lose them. And the teddy bear, we put GPS trackers in too. This was basically so I knew who they were with. And they were all branded and stitched with gold stitching. Batchelor number 31. This was to show that they're my 31st family. And with the CCTV and GPS trackers, it was also part of their life insurance policies. Anyways, I was always able to know where they were, just in case, I had to make my excuses and leave, because they're bloody idiots, and I can tell you that they didn't look amused by this gift. Well, basically, Mrs. Stones went to her husband and told him to get the shotgun. I said to him, if you even think about moving off that settee, I'll get Batchelor you with my handbag. So, Mr. Stone went over and grabbed the shotgun because he didn't take my threat of handbagging him. Well, I should tell you, in my handbag, I always carry around 4 bricks. Just in case. So, I walked over to Mr. Stone just before he was managed to load the shotgun and pointed at me and hit him over the head with the handbag. And I told him to put on the nice set of pyjamas, dressing gown, all of good quality, mind, and the nice slippers that were pink with a brown bow, and all the teddy bear so I could take a photo. And he refused. And Mrs. Stone told me to get out, and she grabbed me and threw me out of the house. Jase Stones Bloody Idiot refused to do and follow his husband out of the house and stuck with his mum. This is one of the reasons we had to get divorced. There were many other reasons, like I did not love him. So we're currently here at my mum's 50-room hotel with 5 acres of prime real estate land, as my uncle, old Mr. Batchelor, would say. Now, if we ever needed the money, he said we could sell the house. He's always thinking of the cash flow, see? So here, with us is my son Victor Manuel, and Francis, and Bert, and my daughters, Mary Jane, and her husband Thomas, and June, and Molly. The girls live with their grandmother here in Mumbai, as they need good moral upbringing. And this can be done by my mum, as she can do the best for them and give them the best start in life, and like she did for me. Plus, this keeps Molly, who's Jase Stones Bloody Idiot's daughter too, away from the other daddy, because he's a bloody idiot, and the court said that I could have full custody, and I left the UK's jurisdiction just before he could appeal the appeal. By the way, we're also thinking of moving the girls to South America where there's no extradition treaties. There will be more in this in the later date. So, like I said, my mum gave me the good moral upbringing. And this is why I am the way I am today. So my uncle's angry with me right now as I'm having an affair with my personal assistant, and I know what you're all thinking. That bloody idiot Jase Stones, number 31, was right. But, in my defence, the affair only started 2 months after Jean-Claude, number 32, had left me. It was one horrible evening during the monsoons weather, and I was sitting at my desk, and Gupta was outside, and I got a nice glass window in my office and door, so I could always keep an eye on the staff. And Gupta could see me slumped over the desk crying. And he came over, and he asked me what was wrong, and he gave me a hug after I told him. Well, let's just say 25 minutes later, after a chat, a few more hugging, 5 glasses of bubbly, and doing yoga on my office desk. You know, that was fun. But then the 20th time after doing this, about 6 weeks later, my uncle, old Mr. Batchelor, walked in on us. And it all came out in a wash about me and Gupta to Gupta's wife Sheila. Now Sheila's from Scotland, very tough woman. They have 5 kids together too. I've only met one of them, Kyle. Him and my son Francis are friends. They're the same age and they went to the same school in Hong Kong, where Francis has been volunteering with the church with my sister, the sister, who is a nun. And that's where she's living right now. When Gupta's wife found out, she came running into my office. She walked past security and the front desk, smashed my glass office window and door with a brick. Well, she's taken my advice, haven't she? In the brick, right? She took out of her handbag. Well, what can you do, eh? People always steal my ideas and don't like, you know, pay me the copyright infringements. I should sue her. But anyway, she then shouted on the top of her voice, "You bitch! You are trying to steal my husband! He's the best thing to ever happen to me!" Then she runs across the glass over to me and starts punching and kicking and smacking me. So I said, "Wait!" and said to Sheila, she needs to calm down. She needs to take a deep breath. And I said to her, after slapping her across the face because she refused to, and she continued kicking me, and she was shocked that I managed to get a slap in, that I'm not trying to take her husband, Gupta. I'm being sent away because my uncles have found out. She then stood up and got her handbag. At this point, I managed to grab my handbag and hide under the desk and, you know, shout casually on the top of my voice, "Security!" Now, as I was shouting, she came over and, you know, she was about to come under. Then I saw 2 big hands grab her and she dropped her handbag on the floor. She had a gun in it, mind. So, the security flew her out of the building. I think Gupta might have some troubles when he gets home from work tonight. And all of this is that bloody idiot Jase Stones number 31's fault, see, in my opinion. He is upset with me as I am getting on with the rest of my life. And he, as I keep saying, is obsessed with everything I'm doing and everyone I'm seeing. He just won't let me get on. And if all of this keeps up, you know, he doesn't seem to understand that I don't love him. I have ever since him and his odious family through their lovely gifts of pyjamas, a dressing gown, all of good quality, mind, and the lovely pair of slippers that were pink with a brown bow, and the teddy bear with glasses, security camera, GPS and a hat, and all branded with Dick Batchelor number 34 to show that they're my 31st husband, sorry. Number 31, I'm thinking about my next husband. Well, next two husbands, really. Oh, I tell you, you never know what could happen. At my age, I'm only 32 years old now. You know what, I'm already thinking about number 33 and number 34. I wonder if they're going to be at the same age as I am. I'm a bit of a slut. You know, and the GPS trackers, and they were all branded, like I said, with Dick Batchelor number 31 to show that they're my 31st family. And they chucked them in my face. I cannot abide these people. They're bloody idiots, the lot of them. So I'm worried about how Gupta will take the news. That I have to leave and do some work for my uncle's business. And he cannot come. This is the longest that we have been away from each other in 2 years of doing yoga on my desk. I hope that I can keep the bloody idiot Jase Stones away from him when I'm away on my trip. So I may have to work with Gupta's wife Sheila, who currently hates me and tried to kill me, and I'm a little worried that she had a gun in her handbag. But we both love Gupta, so we might just work at it. So my uncles are sending me away from the office in India. They said I can't take my dear Gupta with me. As you know, I have to do work and not do yoga with Gupta, as I've been doing for the last couple of months. Well, 2 years. And Uncle Mr. Batchelor said that when will you learn about going out with the staff? It never ends well. Look at you and your ex-husband, Jase Stones Bloody idiot, and how much this has cost us. At this point, Uncle old Mr. Batchelor was in a very bad mood. I can tell these things because we get on like a house on fire. And, you know, I think he's found out and got Uncle Medium Mr. Batchelor's hotel bill that his brother's been hiding from him from the last 25 years. About his trip with him and his new chipmunk wife, as Uncle old Mr. Batchelor would say, and her 5 children and 26 grandchildren that he met in Australia. And Uncle old Mr. Batchelor was last seen walking into the swimming pool, running across it, getting out the other side. May one add, the water was still in the swimming pool. In the other side, soaked to his bones and shouting for the family that it's time to have a board meeting. Now, you might find it quite funny that we mention a board meeting. Well, basically, every member of the Batchelor brothers or the Batchelor family are shareholders in Batchelor Brothers Limited PLC. So, we had a family meeting. Well, we called it a board meeting, but it's a family meeting too, because the both outcomes have the same impact. And they couldn't join us, so they called up through Skype, and that was the Von Stapleforths. Now, she is Uncle old Mr. Batchelor's sister, and she's my mum's sister too. We get on very well, and sometimes we go and play golf together. Everyone says this is where I get my craziness from. The last time I heard about them, Lord Von Stapleforth, as he likes to be called, because he's a lord, rung up British Airways asking if they've seen his wife because she's gone missing and she ran away with the gardener Manuel. It's alright, she came back to him. Well, you know, you got to, haven't you? He's going on with the money. So anyway, they joined us through Skype, and don't they look good after all their problems too. I tell you, if I was their age and still partying, I would have had a good life. Anyway, we all voted to remove Uncle Media Mr. Batchelor from the board, meaning that he's no longer a part of the family. And he's been officially disowned. Oh, but there's more news. Now, because he's got children, 5 of them to be precise, and 26 grandchildren to support, my uncles and the rest of the family are not being that stingy to them. The only ones the decommunication process is for is Uncle Media Mr. Batchelor and his wife, the chipmunk. So, they have offered him a job in the department store because, you know, we still got to keep him on. He's still family, even though he's disowned and he's got to make a profit somewhere. But he's also going to have a house. Well, a small basement flat in the department store that comes with a job. Well, like I said, still family, see? Now, it's funny about all of this is kicked off because he also now has to change his name from Uncle Media Mr. Batchelor to Leroy O'Leary, because we own the rights of the name Batchelor and he cannot afford to pay the first year's instalment. Now, at least he gets to keep a job, you know, and the kids will not go unloved, like I said, because my uncle loves the family. It's just him and his wife who have been disowned. And what's even more funny about this whole situation, Uncle old Mr. Batchelor is 25 years out of date because they've been married for 25 years and the bill is from then. This is what happens, see, when you marry because very quickly because you've been busy baking. See, the last time I spoke with Uncle old Mr. Batchelor, he was last seen mumbling £90,000 for a chip. Not even Beverly rang that much up when she bought this house. And Dick, when he bought those 5 call centres here in India, let alone buying my brother's aircraft carrier from World War II. So I finally talked to Gupta that I'm going on my trip and that he can't come with me on the trip. I finally took the second to tell him how I felt about him. Well, I had to tell him some lies, didn't I? You know, I can't have him crying and stuff just in case that Jase Stones Bloody idiot comes around. So, I asked Gupta to book my trip for me as he works for the family airline. Well, he's actually the managing director there now for the time being, because we need someone we can trust. So, he booked the flight to Munich, I believe. That's what he's talking about. But I don't get it. I'll worry about it tomorrow when he comes to pick me up. Well, if he comes and picks me up, he just walked off in the half. He didn't tell me anything. I don't know what to do. I'm beside myself standing here, you know. So, I'm looking down and I saw my uncle Leroy O'Leary, who we now call Leroy O'Leary, who used to be Uncle Media Mr. Batchelor. I saw his credit card on the table next to his keys for his truck motorbike. So I was thinking to myself, should I do the right thing and chase after Gupta? Oh, but I can never run like that. Everyone will laugh at me running. I run like a girl. So I decided to pick up the keys to my Uncle Leroy's truck. And when I was at it, I also picked up the credit card too, because it has a higher balance than my one. You never know when it could come in handy. So I put the credit card in my handbag, walked out to the truck, got in, beeped the horn 16 times, very fastly. And I started beeping the horn, shouting, Gupta, Gupta! I got out of the tuk-tuk and walked over. Gupta said, what do I think I was doing? Taking this tuk-tuk, it's not yours. And haven't I tried to instill good moral values in you? I explained to Gupta that this is owned by the family business and I am a shareholder, so therefore it is mine. Then hit him with my handbag and said, don't question me. So, I then give Gupta a hug and told him that I'm very sorry he can't come with me to Europe. But he should watch his back for that bloody idiot Jase Stones because he's going to try something. I always know it. I can feel it in my waters. And I had a urine infection for about 6 weeks. So, you know, I know what I'm talking about. And I had one, see, before my husband, number 32, Jean-Claude, left me. So I got a good chance of knowing these things. So I asked Gupta then to take me to the airport the next morning, and Gupta agreed. And, you know, he was very nice about it too. I gave him a hug, I told him I loved him, I got in a tuk-tuk, went around a one-way street. 2 hours later, I arrived back at the house. So when I got home, everyone was still up, and good old Mr. Batchelor stumbled off, mumbling 90,000, still mumbling the same amount of money as before. So, I decided to swerve the whole thing about the family and good old Mr. Batchelor, my dear Mr. Batchelor and the weather, and just, you know, go to bed because tomorrow I'm flying to the cruise ship. So, it was the next day. And Gupta picked me up from my mum's house. And the whole family and staff were lined up outside. And I took a minute. And he reminded me of the time when I was only 8 years old. And I was going away to school for the first time. I was going to boarding school. And the staff started to throw flowers at me. And lo and behold, my mum had arranged this for me now. And they started throwing the flowers. And then Gupta's car pulled up. Gupta opened the door and I got in the passenger seat. I thought it would be better to allow Gupta to drive because I have what's called a medical condition called road rage. I like to shout abuse at other drivers who get in my way. I'm a firm believer that people should get out of the way when I'm driving. Or otherwise they make a fatal accident. So, I got into the car and I said hello to Gupta and I gave him a kiss on the cheek. He didn't look amused again. Oh, I tell you, he's a bit angry, I think, about this whole trip. Because he just chucked my bags in the boat. You know, I told him to be careful. They're worth more than his father earns in a day. So, we pulled off and I started waving to the family. And the girls of the servant staff were dancing. Oi, God knows what it's going to be like. They're going to be having parties for weeks. So, and good old Mr. Batchelor was waving, like you saying goodbye. Oh, that's nice. See, I am his favourite. Well, I think it's because I'm more of an artless bastard. That's what he keeps saying. Oh well. So, Gupta was telling me about the trip and the flight I was going to take, but he then explained that I could only get him on a flight to Munich and that I can walk to Venice from Munich where I was meeting the ship because it's only the size of Mumbai on the map and I would be able to get there in about 20 minutes. Now, I didn't want to argue with Gupta because, you know, he's already very angry at me and he's tried his goddamn hardest to get me on this flight at only 24 hours notice too. So, we pulled up at the airport and I said goodbye to Gupta. I was very upset and I pulled a handkerchief out of my handbag. I got a dolly roller to take my bags to the check-in desk. I paid him 5 pence. Just in case, you know. And I walked through the security gates because I wanted to do a bit of shopping, you know, before my flight. Because I had my uncle's credit card. So, when I was there, I was going through the machine, you know, the metal detector. And they were searching my bags through the X-ray detector. I walked through it, beeped 5 times, I tell you. 5 times it beeped. No once, 5. So there were 2 security guards standing. One of them pointed over to me and said, "You, come here." And I looked at him gingerly and casually said to him, "Did you see me, young man?" He said, "Yes, now come here." So I walked over very, very softly, like I had something clutched in my butt. And at this point, I noticed it's his friend, the guy who's standing next to him. And I was taken back by a moment because he looked like a younger version of my doctor did when I first met him. All those years ago when I was 18, and I was still drinking then too. You know, before I went to university, that summer of 2002, and my unhappily marriage, it was well before I met that bloody idiot Jase Stones in officer training school who was scrubbing the floors where he belongs. But this was before we just bought the house in India, and we met Gupta. Well, I'd known him for years before because, like I said, my uncles and his father have been friends for many years, and we used to play with each other, well, together, at the family estate in Dorchester, when they used to come over for their holidays. So I gingerly walked over to the security guards, and I said, they asked me, "Do you always walk this way, sir?" I said, "Yes, I always walk this way. Because it's easy on my handbag when I'm carrying it, you know. But at this point I'm not carrying my handbag because you made me put it through that machine. What can I do, eh?" Oh, then I picked up my handbag after they frisked me and walked off in a huff because I knew none of them would give me their numbers. I then went to the bookshop and I started looking for a book for Gupta because he might need some advice. So I picked up a book called The Kama Sutra. Oh, the next thing I know, it was time for my flight to be called. And as I have priority boarding because I'm sitting in first class, because I am first class, unlike Jase Stones Bloody idiot number 31, who is low class, or no class, as Gupta says. It turns out that Gupta, you know, has booked I got on the whole row for me. That's 4 seats and my own 5. See, isn't he good? And also, because he's booked out the 5 seats and they're all booked to me, I get 5 glasses of complimentary champagne. And as they come in a small little bottle, they've just given me 4 bottles. So, about 20 minutes before takeoff, I was drinking my glasses of champagne. I put my handbag in the box above my head. I put my laptop in the seat pocket in front of me, ready for when I'm up, because it was a live flat bed with a PlayStation 4. Other games consoles are available if you want them. And, you know, I was a bit sozzled now, and they were coming around doing a safety demonstration. I didn't pay much attention, but I did take a keen eye on the air steward, Anton. He could go well in the business as my family-owned airline, but we're not allowed to tell the staff this. However, with the name Batchelor on my passport, I got a funny feeling they might already know. But we'll wonder later. So, I had the champagne, and the plane takes off, and I was a bit sozzled, you know? You know, 4 bottles, the miniature bottles of champagne, and the cheese would do anyone. And I only drank it in about 20 minutes. Oh, when I got up in the air, I decided to have a little sleep. You know, sleep off the champagne. And I was a bit tired because I was up for most of the night, but last night, because Uncle old Mr. Batchelor, and my mum, and my sister, Lady von Stapleforth and young Mr. Batchelor were all shouting at each other that their parents would not want what they're going to do to Uncle O'Leary. Well, you know, but like Uncle old Mr. Batchelor said, sometimes, Bev, it pays to be cruel to be kind, like I'm doing with Dick. And then everyone, you know, this was going on until 5 o'clock in the morning, and Gupta was picking me up at 7. Oh, I tell you, that Uncle Leroy has caused so much troubles in this family. So, I was woken up to have my meal, and it was nice. And then the air steward's Anton came over to me, you know, because I was going to go back to sleep, see, and came over to me and said, you know, I just can't believe he said it, to tell you the truth. He said, how about a turn before bed? And I said, not with you, thank you very much. Now, I hope he does mean the tour and nothing else, because, you know, I'm his boss, and this can't happen. Yes, I know what you're saying. I'm contradicting myself again here, aren't I? Because that's what I do. But Gupta's different. Gupta's in the executive management team, where Anton is lowly member of staff. So, it's funny. A song was playing earlier when I woke up, and it reminded me of the dear love of my life, Gupta. See, personally, I've never had an ice cream or song come into my head about Jase Stones Bloody idiot. I can honestly say why I never see why I married it in the first place. So it was breakfast time when I woke up, and the woman stewardess, Sandy, tapped me on the shoulder and said, Mr. Batchelor, sir. Mr. Batchelor! And I woke up. I had a face mask on, so I lifted it up. And then she went, oh, it suits you. Now, I do think she meant the mask being down. So I turned around and said, thank you, it's my mother's. There's only 3 hours of this flight left, am I right? And she said yes. So I thought to myself, well, and then I got a 20 minutes walk, as Gupta would put it, to Venice. Well, I better start checking. So I checked my Googles on my iPad for how long it would take to walk from Munich to Venice. And Google came out and told me, boom, boom, hello Teddy, this is the Batchelor. It would take 97 hours to walk from Munich to Venice. So much for Gupta saying 20 minutes. I think he was really upset that I left him, but I will have to deal with that later. So I went to the bathroom and I got stuck in the toilet after I went number 2. And I was banging on the door and shouting on the top of my voice. So, lo and behold, I finally got the door open. And that horrible stewardess, the woman who made a horrible comment about my mask, that was my mother's, that I borrowed because I had no sleep the night before, if you remember correctly, came up to me and said, what are you doing with Anton? I think she's accusing me, the Batchelor, of being in my nightclub with a member of my own staff. Something that one would never do in public, as one can understand. Because, firstly, if I was going to do this, like I said to her, now, why would I do it on a public service aeroplane full of people? I would just use the private aircraft or chuck everyone off. I own the airline, you know. Next thing I know, it all turns out that Anton went missing. He was in the flight deck with his father, who was the captain. I'd met him before. Very good chap, see? Now, Sandy refused to apologise. And I was already irate about the 97-hour walk that's about to come my way. I still have to get from Munich to Venice. So, I started to bang on the flight deck door and demanded to see the captain. That Sandy said if I don't be shut up, she's going to restrain me. So I demanded to see her manager. It turns out she's the cabin services manager on board this flight, and she ordered for the 4 male stewards, including that lovely guy Anton, to strap me to the chair because I'm a risk to security. Me, a risk to security. Well, I tell you, next month when she's going to the bank and she's going to get her money for her wages, well, I won't be a risk to security then, will I? No, I'll be a godsend. Because she could go out and she could buy her cigarettes and her booze. Well, we'll soon see about this. My name's Batchelor, by the way. So, I was kept shouting and screaming on the top of my voice. Then she came over and she put a gag in my mouth and told me to shut up. She seemed very dominant here, and it reminded me of Jase Stones Bloody idiot number 31, see? Because the only way that I could abide being in the same house as him, let alone the same room, is to tie him up to a chair, in a corner, put a gag in his mouth, and blindfold it, and tell it it was a plant, and to think like it's a plant. Well, he wasn't very good at this. But I tell you, it did give me hours of peace. I was able to write my book and my manuscript. Maybe I should have kept doing this to him and just got the divorce, Then I wouldn't have any trouble when I'm away. So, I'm going to leave it here now, people, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in. And I know it's a bit sad, but I've got a bit of a bad throat. Flying always takes it out of me, see. And thank you for listening, and I see you soon. Bye-bye!
Around the world on the internet, this is Real Terryo Radio.
Podcasts brought to you by Real Terryo Radio.